How we doing, guys? Welcome to my channel and my first ever build here on YouTube. I'm really excited about this lot. We're here in Windenburg and it's a 20 by 20 lot, and I really don't think I've ever actually played on this lot. I never realized how awesome the scenery is here, and when I saw the scenery I was very inspired to make some kind of cabin, and I really love building in a modern style with my houses, as you'll see over time, I'm sure. Um, so I was thinking maybe I can do some kind of modern cabin, which sounds a little bizarre, but I went to Google for some inspiration, and I found something, and I kind of based the house off of that modern cabin that I found. Sometimes I'll do that. I'll get some inspiration from Google, and I'll try and recreate the house to an extent, but I like to put my own twist on it. And obviously, you're not going to recreate a house perfectly on The Sims. It would be very difficult. So here I am, I'm just adding in some skylights, which I have really been adding a lot of skylights to my builds recently. I just don't think I ever realized how much potential you had with the glass roofs. When they first came out in Seasons, I really was, well, it came out around the time of Seasons. It's in the base game, but I really just was thinking, oh yay, I can make greenhouses now, and that'll be awesome. But there's so much more you can do with it, and I just love that functionality with them. Plus, they just add a lot of character to your build. So, the house that I saw on Google was pretty much all black. It didn't have any kind of gray or any of the other swatches that I added to this build, but I really wanted that one wall of the house to be kind of like a statement wall, and it would be the only black wall in the house, and obviously I later added some most of the details of the house are black, but I just thought it was cool. I had a lot of different swatches going on with the wallpaper on this house, especially in the exterior. I really like to mix it up and add different textures, whether it be stone or brick, or like a smooth stone, whatever it might be. I like to add different textures and have kind of like statement walls on interior rooms, and obviously I use it a lot with exterior walls also. Um, right now, I was just trying to figure out the pathway. I wish you could make it so the paths up to the house weren't just a cutoff, but I did what I could. We work with what we can, I guess. Um, I wasn't sure what to do with the roof because I didn't want it to be too dark, and so I played around with that a lot. This middle section was being really funky for me for some reason, but here I am just adding a lot of the black trim, and I actually did a lot of fun things with half walls here, and instead of just having the basic, fence all the way around, I wanted to incorporate some half walls so I could have different elements of the build and give it a unique um, exterior. So right now we're just working on one of those little overhanging design structures. I don't know what you would call that, but I've gotten a little crazy with those in the past few builds that I've done. So the ones I'm working on now, I'm kind of like, restrain yourself. You don't need to. You don't need to add that to every build you do. But they look really cool, and they add just a different element to your build. Right now we're just working on the interior colors. I swear that this is one of the most difficult things for me is to pick wall colors for each room. I want them to I really love neutral colors, but I also want to have, statement walls like I talked about earlier and incorporate color. So it's not just gray and black and tan all around, but I am a sucker for those neutral swatches. So I guess just get used to it. I do try and challenge myself by adding different colors, like I said, but it I'm a sucker for them, so it's just gonna happen. It's bound to happen. I really went back and forth on these chairs. I had to cut out a lot of footage. Well, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's a lot of little details that I cut out because this video was just way longer than I anticipated and like 50 minutes long. And I did not want my first video to be 50 minutes long or really any video. That just seems a little bit much, especially for a two-bedroom house. It looks a bit bigger outside, but it did end up being a two-bedroom, and the spare bedroom is is going to be very easy to convert to a kid's bedroom if you wanted it to be more of a family home. Um, I just liked playing around with shelves in this house, and I had a lot of fun with it, to be honest. I did cut out a lot of the little details, like I said, where I added a lot of clutter to certain rooms. I didn't think it was necessary to show every little clutter item that I added and how I had to spin them around 100 different times to get it exactly where I wanted. So I figured I would save you guys the pain of watching me go through that. So I really wanted, to add a good bit of color to the living room while also still staying modest with, my neutral colors that I love so much. Um, it, I don't know, I just feel like some of the swatches in the game are a little bit too vibrant for my liking, but it's really cool when you can incorporate them into a room and they just flow really nicely and they don't stand out too much, or it just kind of brings the whole room together to have that one really vibrant color and it doesn't look unnatural or anything like that. So right now I'm just adding some plants to my room. I really think that plants add so much liveliness to a room and they just make it really cozy. I'm sure you'll pick up on that also, that I really love to add plants to my builds. I don't like to go too crazy with it, but it is one of my favorite things to decorate with. As I mentioned earlier, though, I really got creative with shelves in this build, and I think I incorporated them into almost every room. I think they're really fun to display things, and they also make the room just feel even more homey. And also, like, I love how you can just completely change the look of an object by adding some shelves or different structures around it. Right now, I was trying to figure out where to place my dishwasher. I kind of get picky about those things. Like, I don't want it next to the stove, or I really need it next to the sink because that seems the most realistic place for it. But right now, I'm building a little coffee bar, I guess you could call it. I didn't want to clutter up my counter spaces too much to a point where you have that one designated counter that your sim can prepare meals on, and that's about it. So I wanted to add this little coffee bar so they could still have a little a tea kettle and make their tea every day, whatever your forte is. And feel free to switch it out for a coffee pot, whatever you like. There's enough room for an espresso machine and the grinder that you need for the espresso machine, which took me a while to figure out that I needed a grinder to make espresso in my Sim's house. And there's a reason why I don't put espresso machines in their houses very much because it takes up so much space to have both machines. Um, but yeah, I just wanted to add that cute little coffee bar, and you don't see it here, but I did add a little table runner next to it that kind of almost looked like an extension of the coffee bar. Um, just figuring out lamps right now, and just want to decorate this living room a little bit more. I know I kind of jump around a bit between the living room and the kitchen, but they're kind of the same room. They're very, yeah, it's obviously an open floor plan down on the first level, but I just kind of go back and forth with the living room. The living room and the kitchen are probably my two favorite rooms to design. Um, but I do get kind of torn when I have an open concept and I'm trying to figure out, what swatches are going to look good together and should I have the rooms be super similar, or, like, what am I going to incorporate into the design that's going to tie it all together but they're still going to have their own unique differences. So, this is one of the things that I was talking about. I didn't want to have too much of that. All right, this vase or whatever isn't wanting to rotate exactly how I want it to. So, you can suffer by watching me rotate it 100 different times. But I just need to mention those blinds that I just put up are like my favorite thing that they added in Get Famous. So just needed to point that out. I use it way too much in this build, and honestly, a lot of the builds I do, I just use it all the time. This space up here on the second level is kind of like the I don't know, it's like the access to both the bedrooms and the upper porch that it's the bigger porch that's kind of over the exterior kitchen downstairs. So I didn't know what to call it. I ended up calling it the office space because there's a desk in here which you'll see me add in later. But now I'm going to move on to this little seating area that I had up here. I thought it would be perfect for, reading a book or just a cozy little spot to fill in the gap here of some space in the room. But one thing that I realized later on is that I didn't add a bookshelf to this build. You can't see it right now, but there is it's not technically a plant, but they classify it as a decoration, I believe, and you see it right there. It's like the dead branches or bare branches, whatever you want to call it. I ended up taking that out and replacing it with a bookshelf. So it seems silly to have an office or a study, whatever you want to call it, and not have a bookshelf. Um, so right now I'm just, I'm starting to build the master bedroom. It's only slightly bigger than the spare bedroom, but it has a nice little patio outside, and then the bathroom connects to the spare bedroom, so it's kind of like a Jack and Jill, I guess, because it's right in the middle, and um, it does connect the two bathrooms, so just, make sure you lock the door when you go in there. But right now I was really wanting to put something at the end of the bed here, like an ottoman or something. I love when you can do that with bedrooms. I don't know if you can see it, but I did have one at the end of the bed for a bit, and I ended up deleting it because the space between the dresser and the ottoman was just too little, and it really cluttered up the room to a point where it made the room feel even smaller than it already is. But here I am, using those curtains again. I'm a sucker for those curtains. And so right now I'm just trying to fill in this really awkward, like, I don't know if you would call it a walkway, but it's just some space that I had the deck wrap around the side of the house to connect to that half wall. And I really love these couches. I use them so much, and I even use them on interior builds sometimes. I just think they're really cool, and I like the swatches that they added with them. So I wanted this upper deck to be like the main entertainment area. You can come out here and eat, I guess, if you wanted to. There's a little table for that. And then there's obviously a lot of couches and chairs, so you can come and hang out up here. You can read. You can do whatever you want. More plants because I love those things. And I do add some more like pet items out here. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but there is a couple food bowls downstairs in the kitchen, and I added a cat tower tree thing up here. It's one of my favorite ones. It's more modern in my opinion, and I like how boxy it is, and it's got my favorite swatches on it. So I have that outside for the cats in case they, want to get some fresh air. um, and later on, I had a very unique litter box placement because litter boxes are kind of an eyesore in my opinion. So I wanted to kind of hide that away, but still make it accessible for cats and the Sims so they can clean it if need be. But I do believe that it was a laser kitty eye one, so Sim shouldn't have to worry about it. And right now I'm just doing the exterior kitchen. Another thing that is not pictured in screenshots or the build itself, I added a refrigerator out here because I feel like, some exterior kitchens have refrigerators and the space was obviously big enough for it. And I don't know, maybe your sim is outside and wants to grill something up and they don't want to walk all the way inside to go to your inside refrigerator. Who knows? If you don't like having two refrigerators, feel free to delete it. But I know that the meals that you place are kind of connected, which isn't very logical, but yeah, you can get your French toast out of either refrigerator, so that's convenient, I guess. Um, I had fun though building this exterior kitchen. It's not something I usually do, but I did a mansion recently that I had an exterior kitchen in, and I really loved it. I thought it was really awesome. And then I also didn't have much space inside for a full on dining table. So what I did was I added a little exterior dining table, and I think it adds some variety to where your Sims want to eat or wherever they want to hang out. Um, I'm just adding some more pet stuff. I like to put, beds and cat trees outside so that they have variety on where they want to hang out. And another thing is, I do put litter boxes on every level because for some reason the cats are very particular about having a litter box on every single level. I really love having exterior furniture, just outside spaces for them to hang out, especially on this lot. It has awesome scenery, as I mentioned before, and I feel like if I lived here, I would want to have many options for where I can hang out outside. Um, there's another thing in the build that you're going to see later on, and I didn't end up keeping it because I really didn't, and I just didn't like how it looked. I put some of those spa day like posters on the wall there. You could see it at the very end. I put like three of them there, and I didn't like how they looked. So I ended up putting something else there. But here we are adding in the desk, and I added I'm a sucker for candles too. I like to use those a lot, but I also was thinking maybe I should just put a real lamp here. So that plant that I have on the right of the screen right now is what I ended up deleting, and I put a single space wide bookshelf there. It's a pretty popular bookshelf. I probably use it more than any other bookshelf, but this room I had a lot of fun with. I really love this wallpaper from Jungle Adventure. I use it a lot with like children's bedrooms, especially little girl bedrooms. That it's for me, I do it in a way where it's still really girly. If if that's how I want my sim to be, I like this wallpaper because it's not a pink wallpaper, but there's ways that I can still use pink shades or purple shades and it looks really nice with the light blue. So uh, I like to use it with this um, really rich wood paneling for the floor, but I'm also trying to not use it all the time because I do know that I like to do this with nearly every kid's bedroom that I do for a girl. So I'm also branching out. It's not something that I plan to do for all my builds or anything, but it is just one of my favorite combinations. So I really loved putting the candle down on that second shelf of this mirror table. I really like mirror tables, if you can't tell from the two that I used in this room. Uh, and I just wanted there to be a lot of, pink shades and purple shades. One thing about this room is I believe I had to get rid of the tissue box because when I play tested this build, the tissue box was making the table just it was way too difficult to get it so the sim could actually get into both sides of the bed. So ultimately I was just like, all right, I'm just getting rid of the tissues because the tables are a little bit cluttered anyway, so I like how it looked with just the picture frame, and I'm sure everyone would rather have their Sims get into bed than have a cluttered tissue box on their bedside table. So um, I did have to make some slight adjustments to the end tables for both of the beds, but I also found this rug swatch that I haven't ever used before, I don't think, and I just really love it. It's a really awesome shade of pink and purple, and I just like the colors that they used in that. So as you can probably tell right now, I'm really just doing some finishing touches. I wanted to add in a chess table and I changed some chairs here and there and just changed some little things around that I think looked a little bit better in the end than what I had originally chosen, like these couches. These couches, they were like tearing me apart the whole time I was building this house. I was like, I don't like them. I don't know if I like that. And I have minutes of footage just changing the swatches of the chair and the couches in that room, and I was glad that I found something that I liked in the end, but just know that it caused me quite a bit of frustration to figure out what I actually wanted with that. Um, so yeah, again, I didn't want my counters to be too cluttered, so I ended up moving the salt and pepper shaker over to my dining table, and here's what I was talking about earlier with the litter boxes. I kind of wanted to be sneaky and discreet, and it's still accessible for your cats, but it's not quite so much of an eyesore for you. And I added a little easel, and it had a nice view. And here I am, just adding the mailbox. Um, I sometimes forget to add like the mailbox and trash can, so luckily I remembered to do that, and hopefully I remember to do it for every build from here on out. So we're coming to the end of the video, guys. I just want to say thank you for watching, and if you like the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I am going to keep making content, so I hope you like it, and really thanks for watching.